Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic, host of Bachelor Nation News. Happy Friday. I've got Matt James and Rachael Kirkconnell on Tyler Cameron's podcast. I've got several clips. It's long. It's good. Even though his season of The Bachelor was a dumpster fire, it was botched, it was handled poorly, it was a mess. This couple right here and the story that he shares about how they reunited, I've shared different iterations of it before, but it gets refined and it is so, so good. On a Friday, we need a good love story. We need redemption. We need overcoming the odds. We need that Phil Collins, you know what? And here we have it. Follow me on Instagram at DNeals, patreon.com/Dave Neal for behind the scenes bonus content, and every afternoon Bachelor Rush Hour, link in the comment section to the hit podcast, number 20 on Entertainment News. If you subscribe, it'll help the podcast ratings go up, so make sure to hit the follow button on your Apple phones, and on your iPhones, and we're going to get right into it. So I've got several different clips here, but it's very fascinating hearing him discuss how Clayton messed up. So let's hear Matt discuss his wisdom and how Clayton messed up, and then we'll get into the best story, I think, ever of Bachelor Nation. I'm not kidding when I say that.
The hard week was fantasy week. The really hard day was when our last date got canceled.
No comment.
No, you have to comment.
Why was it canceled, Matt?
So it gets a little slow at first, but Matt basically cancels his fantasy suite or his date with Rachael because he knew he was going to choose her, and she was considering leaving, and it was a whole mess. If we go back, no one even remembers this stuff.
You know, you're proposing, you're not proposing, and they really weren't trying to hear that. So it led to a whole. They just flipped it upside down, like right when you think when you're in control. They just pull it right back from you.
So he's talking about the producers and his not wanting to do certain things that they wanted, and because of that, they sort of flipped the script on him. So they have subtle ways to keep you in line.
Sure, that was the goal.
Like I did not think that you were going to be there the next day.
If Rachael sent herself home, would you pick anybody?
Good question. Terrible audio.
If Rachael sent herself home. We might have had a Clayton situation. But from a different standpoint, because...
Wait, what do you mean? You would have picked someone else if I left?
No, I'm saying because, like, Susie sent herself home, and he was like, no, I don't know, because he hit all three of them, so he was wild.
He goes, I might have a Clayton situation, and then he goes, he hit all three of them. Let's listen to this one more time.
Like, no, I don't know, because he hit all three of them, so he was wild.
Whoa.
He was.
It's not often you get like this honesty and authenticity, and it's probably coming because Matt James and Tyler Cameron were roommates, so they're having this just like natural conversation that you expect happens. He goes, Clayton hit all three of them. I don't know if he means had sex. I don't really know. He obviously doesn't mean like him physically hit them, but he means kind of like he said he loved them all.
We talked about it after the fact. He called me after, and he was like, yo, I want to talk to you about, like, we had the conversation we should have had before he went, but we didn't know each other. So, like, as he's telling me all these things, I'm just like, oh my goodness, bro. Like, I'm trying to like, yo, it's going to be okay type stuff. But at the same time, like, yo.
Because you were adamant about not having sex in there.
Yeah, just because, like, I thought that was, like, kind of weak. For me, like, that's my thing. Like,
so of course, Matt James says he didn't want to have sex, but he also knew he was going to pick Rachael. So that's why he didn't want to have sex, because he was like, all right, I know I'm going to pick her. We can bump Harrison's literally the next day. Like, I'm not going to, although I don't know why he wouldn't. I mean, I guess it's a disservice to the other two in the fantasy suite. So he said, you know what? I'm going to do the right thing and not have sex with any of them. Little did he know that his season was going to take such a wild turn, regardless of him trying to do the best thing.
If you're going to pick, then you are doing all the women a disservice by, even the women you're not picking, you're doing a disservice by using them, essentially. And then the woman you are picking, and you know you're picking, why would you do that if you know you're going to be with her?
Wait, so why did Clayton get in trouble?
Why did Clayton get in trouble?
I don't know if he already knew he was picking Susie. I guess because he said, I want to be with Susie, and then she left, so then he slept. I don't know.
This is what's so good about their discussion right now. They're talking about Clayton's season of The Bachelor the way anybody would talk. Wait, what did Clayton do wrong? Well, he had sex with all of the women. Probably had sex with, I don't know. Well, aren't you supposed to? Well, no. I mean, but then he said he loved all of them. Like, it's the exact same combo we all have.
I don't know.
Celebs, they're just like us.
Oh, I know why. Because he told all of them that he loved them.
You can't do that.
Why not?
Because you can't do that. And Tyler's like, oh, come on, tell him why you love him. But of course, Tyler hasn't been in the position of the lead where, if you say you love all three of them, then the one you choose is going to have this weird trust issue. So you're better off not saying it. But of course, the producers, in their attempt to probably make the lead the villain, they see how many ratings can come from. He told multiple women he loved them. And it's like, well, why doesn't Clayton just tell every woman right out of the limo that he loves them? Maybe that'll destigmatize loving somebody. All right. So when Rachael wants out, let's go to the 21:20 mark. There's so many good moments of this. I might have to make another video here, but let's listen to this clip.
Well, I mean, I'm sure he feels the same way, but the I'm done with Matt's shit list, I think the top of it, just like on a daily basis, is what are you going to say? Do you know one?
I have no idea.
Mine is the top of my list is when he has his clothes
hanging on, sweaty clothes hanging on the TV.
My gosh.
Isn't this great when the ex-roommate and girlfriend can sort of unite in hating the same thing about somebody? So apparently Matt James likes to put his sweaty clothes everywhere. All right, so they get through all the fluff. They talk about their pooping schedules. They talk about all the fun things you talk about, but they get into the real story. So if you don't recall, Matt James and Rachael Kirkconnell said they weren't going to be together at the After the Final Rose hosted by Emmanuel Acho. Right at this point, Chris Harrison's already on a leave of absence. The whole season's been blown up. They say they're not going to get together. Matt James, so angry, rightfully, at production for sort of like putting him in this no-win position that he doesn't want to give them any more sound bites. So he's stoic, bearded, says nothing basically during his time in the After the Final Rose. He goes, you're not going to make any more money off of me. And then we find out later that him and Rachael were still talking. Not officially together, but they were going to take some time apart, work on things. And in that time they take apart, Matt James blows it all up by communicating with another woman named Grace. She exposes Matt James by going on Reality Steve's Instagram and doing an Instagram live. And it was like, oh my gosh, it was wild. That's where this next story picks up that I believe may be the most romantic recovery of a relationship you'll ever see. So sometimes we're so dumb, and as Matt James says in this video, he said it previously that he didn't realize when his relationship with Rachael began that him and Tyler's friendship had to sort of evolve, which meant that Rachael couldn't just be a barnacle on the Matt James Tyler Cameron boat. Rachael had to have her own identity with Matt as a couple, and Matt didn't realize that at first. I've been in the same scenario, so naive in a new relationship. We're like, oh yeah, come do this, come do that, and you just drag this new toy around, and it's like, no, she's not a toy. She needs to be an equal member, and I think they had to learn that, right? But either way, everything's blown up, and here's the story from Matt's perspective on how he and fate, guardian angel stuff, put them back together.
So I was like so mad at him. Honestly, I get like re-mad when I talk about it. We're going to get in a fight.
And I hate this because my wife does the same thing. If we're like, she remembers something, she'll get re-mad. And I'm like, we already got over this.
Oh, shit. My bad, y'all. Damn, my bad,
no,
Matt.
I'm just kidding. So I was really, really, really mad at him. I had him blocked. I was like, all right, I'm moving on. For like 6 weeks, I was just like trying to like basically like get you back. Or like, I just knew that we wanted to be together, or so you were saying. After the
Final Rose.
I was like, okay, let's just be together. What is this then? And 6 weeks later, shit hit the fan. Everything blew up in his face.
Florida.
Right?
Yeah, left, right, uppercut.
And and I was like, I literally was like, I never want to speak to you again. Stormed.
This is still the biggest story I've ever covered. As far as views go, this was wild.
Out of his apartment, packed my bags, went to my friend's apartment. And then we didn't speak for like, a week or two?
Yeah, we didn't speak for a week.
Was it after you guys already broke up on TV?
Yeah. So we had
a lot of people said, well, it was a fake breakup. No, by all means, Matt was getting it from all sides. He was getting it from all sides, and he needed to finally think for himself, I feel like. And that was kind of that moment where like, let's take some time to just like clear out all the noise. And in that moment, he made a bad judgment call where he, had a, squirrel chasing a nut moment where he was like, car? And then he kind of pursued a different woman, not to say that it was right, but of course, like in a new relationship, new waters, are we together? Are we not? Are we on a break? That type of deal. Judgment didn't necessarily operate from the best place of judgment, but it all leads to a good place.
Broken up, and then for 6 weeks we were still in communication, talking, I thought we were working through things from what I understood, thinking we were going to get back together. Shit blew up in his face. And I was like, okay, I'm so done with you. I never want to speak to you again. I can never trust you, like all this stuff. Leave. And at that point I was like, okay, I'm gonna actually try and move on, because for 6 weeks I like wouldn't let myself move on because I knew like we were supposed to be together. So this is like my first time I'm like actually like trying to move on. I block him, so like I wouldn't like call him or text him, or he wouldn't call or text me, or like if he did I wouldn't get it. And then after a week I was like, that's a little immature, so I unblocked him. And it turned out...
let me tell this part.
Okay.
So this is where...
I love when couples have a shared story. No, it's my turn. They're just... It's like a vaudeville act. It's like, oh, now I go. Now enter stage left.
Where I pick in. This is where I pick into the story. So, so it's been a week, and I was like, man, I got to get out of here. Like, everything reminds me of her. So I got to go to California. So I went to California, and I'm just like... just skateboarding, like going to the beach, just like doing like active things to just like occupy my mind and time. And at that time in like life and like our history, everyone was like boxing everybody. Like there was like a celebrity boxing match this week and that weekend.
I'm just laughing at you. You said everything reminded you of me, and then you went to the house that was our happy couple house.
Skip ahead.
And that's how you met Mike.
I get invited to this fight. And I'm in California. They're like, hey, you want to come to this fight with us in Atlanta? And I was like,
So at the time, he's being criticized from people because he's hanging out with like young TikTokers and Instagram people. And everyone's like, what is he doing? But it turns out that links him back to Rachel.
I was like, why not? There's going to be a fun weekend. Like, go watch the fight, whatever.
So you with all the TikTok boys.
There you go.
Yeah, I was with all the TikTok guys.
It was a big weekend.
So I get to Atlanta. They put us up in a nice hotel. Right in the middle.
Was it the Four Seasons?
Yeah, somewhere like
really
right
nice.
Right in the middle of downtown. Like
Midtown.
Somewhere I'd never been, but this is kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never forget. Get there that night. The next morning I wake up, I go downstairs, I'm on the Peloton, just working.
By the way, I would love if like a cartoonist could sort of animate their stories to this audio, because it's so good.
Out doing my thing, and I get a notification on my phone, and it says that Rachel has started sharing her location with you. And I was like, oh, shit. And I was like, I stopped my ride instantly. And I was like looking at my phone, and I opened up the phone. And
do we have any cartoonists?
Because it said she's sharing her location with me. I swear to goodness, she was 2 blocks away from me.
That's crazy.
We haven't communicated in
6 weeks.
Like 10 days.
10 days. This is the longest we've ever gone without talking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, this is a signal. I'm like, she's trying to tell me that she's like trying to meet up.
I drove to see him.
My dumb ass. I'm like, oh, snap. Like, I got to get, so I leave. I'm in my workout clothes, bro.
You wanted to meet up with me?
Yeah, I wanted to see you. So I'm like running around downtown like I'm on Pokemon Go, just like trying to follow the dot. And then I get to this building.
Trying to find that Pikachu.
Bro, you're a fool. So I get to this building, and I'm looking up, and I'm like walking around. I'm like, is she outside? Like, it's like she's in this building. And then I think I FaceTimed you.
Yeah, you did.
And you didn't pick up, and I called you. And you're like,
me twice.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm here. And you're like, what are you talking about? She lives like an hour and a half from where I was. She just happened to be staying at her friend's house that night, which was literally 2 blocks, bro. I'm talking about like 500 feet from where I was staying. Like,
mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I thought you were trying to tell me you were like, you want to see me? She's like, no, I just unblocked you. And I was like, oh, well, I'm outside. Like, can I like talk to you and apologize?
He was like, can I talk to you? I was like, we literally have nothing else to talk about. Like,
I heard that before.
This is just when everything had blown up. I was like, I don't really know what else there is to talk about. And then that's when you were like, I just want to say sorry. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. And so
okay, you can say sorry.
We sat in the parking deck for like 5 hours.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And I was just like.
He was crying?
Literally just sat there and cried the whole time. He was like, I don't know who I've been.
I was like, it was TC. Sorry, no, it's good.
Not yet. It wasn't conceit yet.
No, I was a fool. And I was like, listen, if you give me another chance, like, I promise that, like, I'm going to do it right.
Wow.
And he's
kept his promise.
That was 2 years ago, man. Like I said, black people don't cheat, man. I'm trying to tell y'all since the beginning of the...
Oh my God.
No, I mean,
it's a beautiful story. It's a beautiful story, if you ask me. Yeah, I would love to see that animated, the way they tell it, and just all the expressions. Probably my favorite Bachelor Nation couple, to be quite honest, as far as their chemistry goes. I just wish this podcast was I wish, they did something higher quality, and no blame them to Tyler. It's like they're just on a Zoom call. I just want that rich in person. When I saw Matt James do Anthony Pompliano's podcast in person, it's just like you get this next level conversation that can happen. And anyway, but it's still really good, and you can go listen to the whole thing. I'll sift through it to see if there's anything I missed there. There's a lot of fun little moments. I think Matt is the funniest Bachelor by a country mile that we've ever had. I love his sense of humor. He's so on top. He could easily be a very funny comedian if he wanted to. He's so on top of his references and the norms that he sees out there. And Rachael is sharp as hell and gives it right back to him. And kudos to him for rising to the bar that she set. Very happy that they get to share their love. All right, folks, more content coming your way. Bachelor Rush Hour, the podcast every afternoon, patreon.com/Dave Neal. I'll be live with you guys at 10 a.m. this morning for bonus content. We'll talk to you later. Bye, everybody.